broke his ankle during a stunt in 2017 and he still rides through the pain. He owns motorcycles that cost supercar money, including a $72,500 Ducati limited to 1,500 units. That is calm. Today I will show you the 8 motorcycles Tom Cruise owns that you would be afraid to ride, and why the detail hides in sight. Number 8. Triumph Bonneville Scrambler. A bike survives Hollywood explosions, then ends up sitting quietly like nothing happened. How does a so-called simple twin become a prototype weapon, and who ends up owning that risk? In Mission Impossible 3, Cruise rides a Triumph Bonneville Scrambler that began as an 865cc Bonneville twin, then Triumph's factory custom crew turned it into a one-off screen machine. One of these film bikes later sold for around $29,250, roughly double its estimate, and that jump happened for one reason: Cruise had ridden it. Here's the weird part. Triumph described the screen bike as effectively a prototype. That phrase changes everything because prototypes carry strange choices you never see in a showroom, and Vyrus stressed the movie version had unique details tied to the future production Scrambler that arrived in 2006. So when you picture riding it, you picture a bike turned closer to dirt and chaos than comfort, with geometry, suspension, and clearance pushing you toward messy lines. During filming, several near-identical scramblers did the work, yet only 2 hero bikes made it on screen. One of those heroes went from dodging stunts to being treated like an investment, and a collectibles expert called it serious hardware behind Cruise's action rolls. If you are enjoying this, give this video some hype right now. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and tell me in the comments which bike you would never ride. The next entry gets way wilder, and one detail behind it surprised even serious riders, so stay right here. Number 7. Triumph Speed Triple. 2 bikes slide through sand, and the camera lingers like it wants trouble. Why would a filmmaker pick a street bike known for wheelies, then push it into pure madness? In Mission Impossible 2 from 2000, Cruise rides a 1999 Triumph Speed Triple 955i, a naked street fighter with a 955cc 3-cylinder and around 108 horsepower. That number matters because this bike earned a reputation for lifting the front wheel with embarrassing ease, even for riders who swear they will behave. The chase could have been clean, but John Woo leaned into chaos, and Vyrus called it, quite frankly, ridiculous. You see stoppies, jumps, and even a sudden switch to knobbly tires that laughs at continuity. That choice makes the Speed Triple feel bigger than it is, because now the bike carries a movie memory of mid-air nonsense and near crashes. Then collectors poured gasoline on the legend. One actual stunt Speed Triple from that sequence sold at auction in 2019 for $72,000, and the Heritage Auctions catalog described it as one of the most exhilarating action sequences in the franchise. Imagine staring at that same model in your garage after reading that line. Would your right hand stay calm? Hold tight, because the next bike hides a jump button. Number 6. Honda CRF 450X. It looks like a clean sci-fi ride skimming over alien sand. So why does the builder brag it can hit 100 miles per hour and jump 50 feet? For Oblivion in 2013, the production needed a futuristic machine that could take real punishment. So beneath the sleek bodywork sat a Honda CRF 450X, a 449cc off-road competition bike built for enduro abuse. The Los Angeles Times credited California builder Justin Kell of Glory Motorworks, saying he took 3 CRF 450X bikes and turned them into Jack's Moto Bike for Cruise and the stunt team. Cal explained the pressure in plain terms, saying the bikes can take you 100 miles per hour and jump you 50 feet, and one fabrication mistake risks hundreds of thousands of dollars plus serious injury. That quote tells you what the pretty shell hides: a chassis that expects pro-level jumps and suspension ready to launch if you grab too much throttle on a ridge. They filmed sequences on volcanic sand in Iceland, and BikeNet described the bike wheeling through that harsh landscape. One later report claimed the custom build cost about $10,000, and crews only managed around 20 minutes of riding per full tank during shooting. That small detail screams hard use. Stay with me, because city traffic turns into a real monster. Number 5. BMW R9T Scrambler. Paris looks romantic until you picture horns, taxis, and zero space. So why would anyone ride the wrong way around the Arc de Triomphe on purpose? In Mission Impossible Fallout from 2018, Cruise rides a BMW R9T Scrambler through Paris, including a wrong-way run around the Arc de Triomphe. Web Bike World highlighted that Cruise insists he does all his own stunts, and the scene shows him charging into traffic before smashing into a car. Even watching it once makes your shoulders tense. On paper, the bike seems friendly. BMW's 1170cc air-cooled Boxer Twin, around 110 horsepower, upright bars, relaxed stance. The trouble shows up when you picture the shape, because the bike weighs 430 plus pounds and the Boxer engine sticks out wide. Those cylinder heads look cool in photos, yet in tight gaps they sit right where mirrors and bumpers live, and a line that drifts a few centimeters turns into metal-on-metal chaos. Cruise filmed those scenes at 56, still trusting reflexes to thread a heavy twin through some of the most famous streets on Earth. Safety plans existed, yet the final cut shows the Scrambler skimming walls and slipping under cars like a crash video that somehow stayed upright. Keep watching, because the next bike plays at triple-digit speed. Number 4. BMW S1000RR. Picture a superbike, everyday clothes, and a road full of traffic. Now add the detail that the riding happened at over 100 miles per hour with no helmet. How does that end well? In Mission Impossible Rogue Nation from 2015, Cruise rides a BMW S1000RR through Morocco, tucked low, weaving through traffic. Behind-the-scenes chatter from crew posts and clips said he performed his own riding, and the speed claim sits at over 100 miles per hour, which already sounds reckless before you even look at the bike. Because the S1000RR lives in a different world. It makes roughly 200 horsepower from a 999cc inline-4 with a governed top speed near 186 miles per hour and electronics tuned with racetrack intent. Riders talk about how eager the front wheel feels, even on partial throttle. So imagine the focus required while cameras chase, the road narrows, and one mistake becomes a multi-million-dollar mess. Fans locked onto one brutal moment. Cruise leans so hard his knee hits the tarmac, and a Reddit thread pointed out he wore jeans with no knee sliders. That detail stings because the bike can handle that lean, but fabric cannot, and the margin for error turns microscopic. Stay close, because the next bike created the myth before modern tech. Number 3. Kawasaki GPZ900R. A fighter jet screams down a runway and a motorcycle races it. How did one road bike in the mid-1980s earn a reputation like a jet on wheels? In Top Gun from 1986, Cruise as Maverick rides a Kawasaki GPZ900R, the Ninja 900, alongside F-14 Tomcats. Motorcycle Classics pinned the key numbers: a 908cc liquid-cooled inline-4, about 115 horsepower, and around 154 miles per hour in period tests. In 1984, when the GPZ900R launched, that mix of speed and tech landed like a punch, and Hagerty later noted rivals like Ducati and Triumph struggled to match that blend at the time. So why does it still feel intimidating today? Because the power arrived before modern rider aids became normal, while the chassis and brakes reflect an older era. GQ India described it as close to a fighter jet as a road-legal motorcycle could get. And that line hits harder when you picture Maverick riding in casual gear, selling confidence that most riders do not have. Behind the scenes, Visor Down reported the production sourced 2 GPZ900Rs from a California dealer, and those film bikes effectively vanished after shooting. That disappearance keeps collectors guessing. and it keeps the bike's story alive. Hold on, because the next pair comes straight from Racing Rules. Number 2, Ducati 999R and Desmosedici RR. One bike exists because racing rule books demanded it. Then another arrives with MotoGP DNA, and suddenly the street feels way too small. Cruz reportedly owned Ducati's 999R, a homologation special tied to Ducati's early 2000s superbike success, pushing around 150 horsepower from a 999cc L twin. Allmoto called it raw Italian power, and the reason matters more than the vibe. The street version had to match the track engine because racing rules forced that link. So every bump, every pothole, every slow corner feels like the wrong environment for what the bike wants to do. Then Ducati picked Cruz for something even wilder. The Street and Autoblog reported he became the first US owner of the Desmosedici RR, the street-legal echo of Ducati's 2006 MotoGP race bike. The numbers carried the danger, about $72,500, limited to 1,500 units, powered by the 989cc V4, making close to 200 horsepower with Olin suspension and magnesium wheels built for speed. Michael Locke from Ducati North America summed it up, calling it the impossible dream made possible. That dream comes with a strange result. Many owners keep mileage in triple digits because riding it feels like borrowing a factory race bike. Keep watching, because the final bike makes even experts blink. Number 1. Vyrus 987 C3 4V. A front wheel held by an arm, no normal forks, and a stance that looks illegal. So why did Cruz ride this thing away from the Chateau Marmont around his 51st birthday? The Vyrus 987 C3 4V sent forums into meltdown when Cruz was seen riding it away from the Chateau Marmont, and the design explains the panic. It uses a Ducati-sourced 1198cc V-twin mounted in a hub-center steered chassis with a front swing arm instead of forks. Reports on the top compressor version claims up to 211 horsepower, and the bike weighs roughly 158 kilograms dry, which feels like race bike math wearing a license plate. Some writers called it the most powerful production motorcycle in the world, and one outlet highlighted a wild figure, about 1 horsepower for every 1.8 pounds. That kind of ratio changes how you imagine a corner exit, because throttle control becomes a balancing act and any mistake feels instant. Then you hear the testing stories. Bike Sales quoted that it shredded tires and stretched chains during testing, which paints a picture of a bike that chews parts when pushed. Add rarity and cost, with reports placing Cruz's Vyrus at over $100,000 and production in the few dozen range, and the pressure turns personal. That Economic Times joke lands strangely well. Bruce Wayne's weapon of choice. 8 bikes, 8 kinds of danger, and every one says something about how Cruz chases adrenaline. If that surprised you, drop your pick below and tap the next video now.